So yeah, the Bruins suck. And blowing a 3-0 lead to Toronto and losing in overtime sucks. But at least with that game with the Leafs on Tuesday night, you got a little bit of a glimpse into your future if you're the Boston Bruins. Mitch Marner, free agent this summer, is I think wisely going to market, and is one of the, really one of the most skilled players in the NHL. I think probably the best playmaking winger in the NHL, and a guy who destroyed you last night, scored 2 goals, including the game winner, and is potentially going to get to, a point, more than a point a game. He's potentially going to get to 100 points this season, which he's flirted with in the past. I think he's had 99 and 97. Like, if I'm the Bruins and I need to retool this team, not rebuild, retool this team, the first thing you need is a number 1 center, obviously. But those don't grow on trees. And you tried that last year. Don Sweeney cannot be trusted going for a number 1 center because he gave a 7-year, $7.75 million contract, AAV contract, to a third-line center in Elias Lindholm. So he can't identify that position. He can't identify that kind of talent. So how about we make this foolproof for you? How about we just go out and get really productive forwards? If you're going to play Charlie Coyle on the right wing anyway, who gives a shit? If you have a line with David Pastrnak and Mitch Marner, put whoever the fuck you want at center. Put Patra at center. We're okay. The point is, you can't be ignoring Mitch Marner, one of the most talented players in the league, because, he doesn't play center. In fact, you could put Elias Lindholm in the center on the first line. He wins faceoffs. That's all he does. And he plays a little bit of defense because Marner is the playmaker. He's not the center, but he is the playmaker. He is the creator. He's one of the best playmakers in all of hockey. And he's a damn good defensive forward too. He gets in the top 20 of Selke every year. He got I think he was 3rd 2 years ago. And if he finds the right system here in this next contract, as he's in his prime right now at age 28, he will win a Selke award. He will. He's that good defensively. So to me, it's a no-brainer. Now, I would understand the irony of a lot of Bruins fans, including myself, very critical of Mitch Marner in the postseason, right? I don't think he's shown all that he could do in the postseason. And you see it with this Leafs team, maybe just as much as Austin Matthews. When Mitch Marner is going good, they are going good. In fact, Austin Matthews is not going very good right now, and they scored 5 last night and won. They came all the way back. Marner had two of the goals and made some nice setup plays too. He had a beautiful setup to Matthews in a point where he missed a point-blank chance late in regulation, maybe even overtime. He has his moments. He scored in big games, right? I don't think he was that great in the Four Nations tournament, but he scored the game winner in the first game. He had a nice play to assist on Connor McDavid's winner in Boston in the championship. This kid is fantastic. Has he been immature at times? Yeah, we saw what Nylander said to him on the bench last year, and I was just thinking, man, how could anyone want this guy? But the stats are the stats. Every great goal scorer has the great creator, right? Or in the case of Gretzky, you were both. But, Austin Matthews has Mitch Marner. Mario Lemieux had Jaromir Jagr. Cam Neely had Adam Oates. They all have them. And Mitch Marner is that for Austin Matthews. And he's going to go to market this year. I think you would be insane if you're the Bruins and you don't go after him. We're talking about a guy who, doesn't play center. Whoop-de-doo. He plays all the time, okay? He rarely misses games. He's gone up to 100. He's at least a point-a-game guy when he plays a full season. At least. His whole career, he's been a point-a-game guy outside of his rookie year. And he's approached 100. He's been over 90 3 times in his career. including a 99-point season in 22-23. Like, he's up for, he's an all-star. He's been an all-star 3 times. He's been up for the Selke every year. He's up for the Lady Byng every year. Like, you're in for a real, like, that to me screams foundational piece. And again, the postseason performances aren't what they should be. They're not awful. They're not dreadful by any means. But like, who amongst them doesn't choke in the playoffs? They all choke in the playoffs with Toronto. They all do. So I just see a guy. I don't see, oh, too bad he's a winger, not a center. He's supremely talented. And you guys who listen to the show, watch the show, know how much I love the similarity scores on Hockey Reference. And I think it's such a great way, looking at their stats, who they're similar to by years in their career. I want to give you the current players that he hits the similarity scores, the current NHL players that he hits the similarity scores for. Sebastian Aho, Braden Point, Kyle Connor, Sasha Barkov, Jake Gensel, Mikko Rantanen. Now, take the Leafs uniform off him for a second, because how many of those guys would you not want to have on the Bruins? In free agency, you're giving them over $10 million a year. I would do it for any one of those guys, every single one of them. And so that's what you got to think about when you think, oh, I don't want Mitch Marner. Look at the tantrum he had on the bench against us last year. But look at how he plays. And his similarity scores for guys who are not current players: Peter Stastny, Dale Howardchuk, Ilya Kovalchuk, Peter Forsberg, Luc Robitaille, Marcel Dion, Cam Neely. Stop me when you hear a bum that you wouldn't give $10 million to. And it's going to take more than that. It's going to probably take about 12 to 13 million. He's going to have one of the biggest contracts in NHL history as a guy in his prime at 28 going to market this year. But the bottom line is you need to make up a ton of talent. You have a huge talent deficiency. And if you're retooling and not rebuilding, which is what you're saying, okay, fine. That means I need to fill out this core in the next year or two. Mitch Marner does that. And then you can put Lindholm on the first line center again, because he won't be left out to dry as much. He'll still suck, but at least you'll have 2 of the best wingers in the entire league on either side of him. Or you can put Potter there and have him develop there. I'd personally probably start Lindholm because he's a better defensive center, and you lose something defensively with Pastrnak, and you'd have 2 pretty good defensive forwards out there, guys who get Selke votes, Lindholm and Mitch Marner. But to be honest with you, the only thing that makes me apprehensive about Mitch Marner, it's really 2 things. It's 2 names. Mikko Rantanen might also be a free agent this year. Personally, I like Marner better for the defensive purposes, but Rantanen's numbers are off the charts. Like, he is a 100-point guy. And I guess we don't know if he does that without Nathan McKinnon, whereas Mitch Marner is the playmaker. And Rantanen is the benefit of that, and you don't have a playmaker if you're the Bruins. That's where I kind of lean towards Marner. But that's one name. The other name that keeps me apprehensive about Mitch Marner is Jack Eichel. He's probably going to hit free agency in 2026. And he'll be at that point 29, 30. But if we're being honest, guys, I would give any number to Jack Eichel. And if it came down to a trade, I would trade anyone on the roster for him. Anyone. I think he's that good. And he's obviously coming into his own. He's in his prime right now. He's become a full 200-foot player, 3-zone player. He has absolutely become the number 1 two-way center that you build your team around. And I'm a little biased. He's a local guy, and I watched him play a lot in college, and it's one of the great sports privileges I've ever had, watching him live in college. He was incredible. He was so much better than anyone else on the ice. I mean, shoot, with the way this salary cap is going up, maybe, just maybe, you can afford both of them plus Pastrnak, McAvoy, and Swayman. I doubt it, but maybe. And I mean, if there's a world where in 26, 27, you're rolling out a first line of Pastrnak, Eichel, and Marner, forget about it. We're done. Like that's a Stanley Cup team. No doubt about it. That's got to be a Stanley Cup contender. I don't even care who you have in goal. Like you could trade Swayman. In fact, go ahead, trade Swayman. I don't care. I would give anyone up on the roster for Jack Eichel. So that's a year off, and that would be the thing that would keep me apprehensive. But this team does not have a plan. Like, let's not be fooled into thinking that Don Sweeney has a plan. He doesn't. And if you decide to not go after Marner because you're going to, break the bank on Eichel, and he just signs an extension in the middle of, 25, 26, you're up a creek again. And you're going to be, if you hadn't added to this team, you're going to be one of the worst teams in the NHL. So good luck. Mitch Marner. That sickening overtime game winner. I mean, I'm like, sign me up right now. And if he sucks in the playoffs, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But really, his numbers are not as bad as people think. And he's the best playmaking winger in the entire league. And golly, the numbers that David Pastrnak could put up. Pastrnak could put up Austin Matthews type numbers if Mitch Marner's on that line with him. It's got me thinking all kinds of naughty things. And I would do anything to have Mitch Marner on the Bruins next year. I'd give him $13 million. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Should the Bruins break the bank for Mitch Marner? How much better does he make them? Do they just need to keep chasing after a center? Because personally, to me, that doesn't work. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Be sure to like and subscribe. Helps out the channel a lot. We are bringing you fresh Boston sports content every weekday, high noon Eastern time, live here on YouTube, and then wherever you get your podcasts.
We are Rogue Media Sports.
Hey, thanks for stopping by. And if you like this video, be sure to give us a like and subscribe. It really helps out the channel a ton. You can follow me on Twitter here for some more outrageous Boston sports takes coming to you every weekday at noon Eastern time. And then after that, wherever you get your podcasts.
We are Rogue Media Sports.